was bush hogging, and I cut it off right here to go do something. And when I came back, the tractor wouldn't start again. So I just sent it with my buddy. Shout out to Hunter. He came over here with his trailer, and he's gonna take it to the mechanic shop. We think it's the starter, so it's never been replaced. So we're gonna get a new replacement starter put on it, but we were doing a pretty good job of bush hogging. We gotta get this stuff cleared out for the septic. We're gonna run our septic lines here next week or the week after, whenever they can get out here. But we're making some good progress with the bush hog. Finally got my tractor out here to do it, so it's a little bit overgrown right now. Got a lot of wildlife living out here. Mice and snakes and rabbits, any sort of wildlife that lives in nice thick grass. And jumped a few of them, but we'll get it started back next week once I get my tractor back and get it repaired. So progress this week. Last week we met the cabinet people over here, we met the tile people over here, we looked at gas logs. What else did we do? We met a few other trades out here. HVAC, we met them this morning. We talked to the septic guy. We've got, let's see, electrician. We went through this morning and we marked all of our spots where we wanted different things. So in this general vicinity, we come in here and we've marked, it's kind of hard to see, but switch, in different areas. This is going to be in. We got hinge side swinging in, so we marked a lot of these things today. We're going to get a switch right here. So the quotes did come back. Our tile came back right on the money. Our HVAC came back right on the money. Our cabinets came back a little bit more, but I think we're going to save some money in the paint. We got that quote back to paint all of the interior. It came back about $3,500 less than what we had originally looked at. So that's going to be a money saving area that we may be able to push towards the cabinets. One thing we did address is how are we going to heat and cool this area in here, this large great room. And our HVAC guy, pretty smart guy, he's come out and looked at it, and we're going to do a sheetrock duct right here, and it's going to run right back through there. And then basically it'll come in flat, and then it'll 90 and go up to the ceiling, and then the ceiling will follow the pitch all the way up. That being said, it's going to be on the front and the back side. So we'll have a little piece right here. We met with the electrician this morning. We're going to put a nice recess light under each one of these spots on the front and the back. We're going to run recess lights all the way up. We're going to do a nice ceiling fan right down the middle. We're going to do a chandelier over our kitchen table, over the island. We're going to do some pendant lights. We hopefully will have our stairs built next week. We figured out our island or our landing situation there. That was kind of a little bit tricky, but we figured it out. And I'll explain it once we get it built, why it was tricky. We've got our refrigerator, cabinets, stove oven, and then more cabinets up top. All that came back pretty close to budget. I wasn't like sticker shock, but it did come in a little over. I'm not worried about it. We got some money to save other places, and we should be good to go. We got a 42-inch gas fireplace going in right there. Ordered it today, so hopefully it'll be in soon. I ordered our other two awnings. They're going to be coming next week. Talked to the builder about putting those in. We're going to use lag bolts, and we're going to put those up. They'll go over those front three windows like we talked about in past videos. So things are moving along. I'll have some more updates maybe this weekend, possibly the beginning of next week. A lot of frequently asked questions on our Instagram page and on our YouTube page that I get asked. I wanted to address some of these really quickly. One of them is, how big is your house? Well, our house is from outside edge to outside edge is 79 by 38. So that's from the outside of the concrete, left to right is 79, and from front to back is 38. That doesn't include the interior walls, so they actually come off the outside edge by a foot. We're losing a little bit, about a foot all the way around on the interior. That's because of the purlin depths and the framed walls. So we can look at that in another video, but the depth is something that we lose. We knew we were going to lose that depth, and it was a calculated thing that we had to do to get the I-beams set on the corners. I guess we could have made the outside edges bigger, but obviously it would have made our house cost more. Another frequently asked question is, why did you guys go with the look that you did? So we went with a Barndominium metal building I-beams because of the structural integrity. We did not go to it for the price, because the price wasn't any more or any less. I liked the I-beam structure because of its structural integrity. Same way with the standing seam roof. I did a lot of research on screw down roofs versus standing seam roofs, and the standing seam roofs seem to last the longest. They also have the least amount of maintenance. That was important to me. I wanted to have the least amount of maintenance with the outside of this house. I did not want to have to get up on the roof once, twice, maybe even 3 times a year to verify that none of the screws had backed out and that we didn't have any gaskets missing on the screws. All of those things could be maintenance issues that you don't have to deal with a standing seam. So if you're looking between a screw down roof and a standing seam, just YouTube it. There's plenty of people out there that can explain the difference in the two. It makes a world of difference, but it is a price increase. Another frequently asked question we get is, how much did your building cost? Well, that's not an easy question to answer because we're not finished. But I can tell you that our metal frame cost us $50,000. Now that comes into account a lot of the upcharges that we decided to go with our house. We decided to do things that would maybe up the price from a plain house to a little bit more expensive house. So we had basically some add-ons. The add-ons that we wanted and that we were not going to budge on are the gable front porch that hips back to the house. We wanted a 612 roof pitch. We wanted a black roof. We wanted a standing seam roof. All 4 of those things added to the cost of our house that maybe you won't add to yours. The other thing is, we did not do tapered I-beam columns on the inside. We did straight columns. That's one thing that I let the steel frame company talk me into. It's a great benefit now that we've going to frame the walls. It keeps us from having to worry about framing a piece of metal that goes up to the I-beam like this, where our columns go straight and then they 45, rather than having a big web of metal right there. That was a tapered beam. We chose that. That was an upgrade. I'm glad we did. The other thing that we did on the building that cost us a little extra is we changed our eave height. So the eave height is from the ground to basically where your gutters are. That's your eave height whenever they ask you that, eave height. I had to learn all these terms because some of these terms were foreign to me. I was just calling it wall height, but in the industry it's called eave height. Our eave height is 12 foot. That 12 foot was changed from 10 foot, which is mostly standard, so that was an increase. So things like that added to our costs. That's not to say that you might find a place that doesn't charge you extra for a 612 pitch, but if it's going to cost you a little bit more in materials and labor to build it, to manufacture it, you can almost guarantee that it's going to cost you more upfront to do in the cost. And last but not least, one of the things that they offer, a lot of metal building companies will offer you so many framed openings for a price, and then every framed opening after that costs a little bit more money. Well, we have quite a few framed openings, so they added up over the course of around the perimeter of the outside of the house to cost us a little bit more because we added more than their stock amount that they give with a building package. So one of the last things I want to talk about is our land out here and how we did our driveway. So we brought our driveway in off of the main road. We have 20.5 acres. We decided to put our house further back in on the acreage rather than on the road frontage. We have a local farmer that farms our land, and we wanted to keep the road frontage in farm use. So we decided to come back. We looked at our topography of our land. We decided that this was the best spot to give us a view from the front porch out and also gave us enough back area to put accessory buildings, you know, areas for the kids to play, anything we wanted back there, future room for growth, bonfire pit, whatever we wanted to do in our backyard, with allowing us to have, you know, that space, that buffer space between the woods and the back of the house. So we decided to place our house about 3/4 of the way back, and I think it's got a nice little spot we picked out. It's on a little knoll, so it's actually higher up than the front of the field, so we're actually looking down over the front of the field back towards the road, and it's a nice little spot. I'm going to try to include a lot more of these frequently asked questions, because now that we're getting further along in the build process, we get a lot more of these questions on our Instagram page and also on this YouTube page. If you have a frequently asked question, something that you are thinking of, other people are probably thinking of it too. So if you want to go ahead and add it to the comments, I'll try to address it in one of the next videos. We're going to have a lot of trades in here this week, so hopefully we can get some more footage of some things getting done. And just click and subscribe, and I'll keep you updated on as much of the progress as I can.